Thank you all so much for that. And Katrina, thank you. And Tanya, thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day and coming back to hear me speak, especially after enjoying your most wonderful, awesome lunch, wherever you were. I'm going to talk to you today about how to travel with confidence. And confidence is something that many of us wish we had and know that we don't in some areas. Many times we have confidence in our work life, but in our relationships with our families, we find that the confidence is really not there, or with your significant other, or with yourself doing the things and living the lifestyle that you desire. When I talk about living the lifestyle that you desire and how to travel with confidence, who am I to tell you this? Let me just tell you a little bit about me. I am the sixth of 7 children, and we were a sharecropping family. Raise your hand if you know what a sharecropper is. Wow, you know. How many of you know what a knee baby is? A knee baby. Okay. That's the 6th person in the family, that's me. I'm the one next to the baby. So they call them the knee baby because by the time I was born, my brother should have been standing at my mom's knee. So that's why we call them, this is from the South. just so you know, this is from the South. So growing up the 6th child and having all my siblings who knew everything and they were my wizards, I learned a lot of stuff that I got an opportunity to unlearn as I found out it wasn't supporting me in my life. Part of that was traveling. Growing up as a sharecropper's daughter, sharecroppers shop at the company store. They get all their goods and seeds from the company store, till the soil, time to harvest. Sometimes we have a great harvest, sometimes we don't. And of course, sometimes we owe the company store. So if you want to look at the socioeconomic ladder, you would see that we were at the bottom. There's one thing in my house that my parents both agreed on, and that was education. We must go to school. Even though my father had a 3rd grade education, my mom was a high school graduate, somewhere inside, they realized that education was the way for their children to create a different lifestyle. So we all did that. And the caveat was, don't make me come up to that school. So with 7 children, only the baby made my mom come to the school. She was the rebel. And I think she was the rebel because she died when she was 30 years old, but she lived a full life. So I wanted to show you this at the beginning, so since we have my PowerPoint working, I thought, getting ready to do your dance, William. So,
I'm not a Mac person, I'm sorry.
Having grown up in that environment, though, it was really awesome because we became very, very close. There was a lot of love in the house. We always had plenty to eat, clothes to wear, hand-me-downs from the oldest to the youngest, but it always worked out. So who am I to tell you about traveling? My uncles and my grandfather lived 90 miles away, which seemed like a long ways away at that time. And they were avid readers. They read everything. So once a quarter, they would bring all their books to us, and we could read them. My dream was to travel to all those faraway places that I read about. And I would plan to go, and something would cause me to have to use the money someplace else. Finally, I had the opportunity to travel. In traveling, though, here we are.
Is there
Do you want
music
the video?
on this?
No, there's no music on that one.
Okay.
Do you want the video?
I don't need the video now. I'm already going.
Just tell me when.
We're fired.
Tell me when. I'm here for you, baby. Tell me when.
Well, if you look, you see how to travel with confidence. And this is the Kingdom of Tonga. And I want to talk to you about Tonga because it is one of the last republics that's actually governed by a king. And because of that, of course, when I was in the South Pacific, I had to go there and visit it because I want to visit the king. Well, I got outside of the castle, but the castle was way, way back there, and I was way over here, but I did have pictures of it, so that was lovely. In Tonga, we have what we call blowholes, and people come from all over the world to see the water come up through the holes in this lava. And it sounds like a whale when it's coming up. It is absolutely amazing. Okay. Sharecropper's daughter, cotton field. We had cotton and we picked cotton. I wasn't old enough when we got off the farm, thank God. And so, but it was the whole idea. We did the interesting thing about this though is at that time we literally picked cotton by hand. And we had go in 2 or 3 times because the owner of the farm wanted to make sure we got all the cotton. Now they have machines to go in to pick the cotton. And they go in one time, and whatever's not gotten is plowed into the ground. Peanuts. These are peanut stacks. I don't know if any of you have ever seen these. No. You have. Oh, there's my North Carolina also. Yes, and the peanuts grow in rows, but when it's time to harvest them, they plow them over, and you physically go and pull them out of the ground, shake them, and stack them on these stacks. Once they're stacked on the stacks and they dry out, they go to the plant for them to take off these pieces, and then you have peanuts to eat. So now they don't do it that way, they do it with the machines. Back then, though, it was really interesting because we never dreamed they would actually come up with a machine to do the work that we were doing. And if you think about it, a lot of machines have been created since then to do a lot of work that we physically did. I mentioned education. That was one of the big things in our lives. This was my graduation picture. In my house, you had to do as my parents said until you got grown and then you left home. When you were 18 and you graduated school, you were grown. That was the most disappointing time in my life, day in my life. I didn't feel any differently, but I was grown. So what's stopping you from traveling? Is it the fear that you have? Is it the fear of what other people are saying? Is it the dread that you might make a mistake? Is it going through customs? Is it going through TSA? What is it that's telling you, yes, I want to travel, but I'm so afraid? While I was traveling, one of my friends talked to me on Skype and she said, you know what? I'm so happy that you didn't let my fear stop you from traveling. Now I'm going to share with you 3 key strategies for traveling confidently. As I talk about these 3 strategies, you might want to make some notes. They're very simple, easy to do, something to get you started preparing yourself for whenever you decide to travel. Key 1 is to be still. How many of you have a practice of every day spending at least 5 minutes in stillness? Yes, 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 thank you. And for those of you who are not doing that practice now, I would strongly suggest that you do because it starts to center you for the day. It gets you ready to experience the fullness of your day. And as you're experiencing the fullness of your day, you find that you're less stressful. While you are being still, you want to breathe. Focus on your breathing, that's all you want to focus on. Because as you are inhaling deeply and releasing that air, you're going to find that your organs start to heal themselves, you start to be less stressful, you start to feel good, you're energized. So be sure that you, when you're sitting and you are being still, you're breathing. Let me tell you about the coffee plantation in Bali. When I went to Bali, how many of you saw The Bucket List with Morgan Freeman? This is the coffee plantation that he was talking to Jack Nichols about. And he mentioned the coffee that Jack liked as being the most expensive coffee in the world. And it is. Go ahead, Katrina. And it's the Kopi Luwak coffee. So of course I had to go there and visit to find out how this coffee is roasted and harvested. Morgan was not lying when he said it is first eaten by the monkeys. And then, when the monkeys are done, it is gathered and cleaned and roasted. But I'll tell you something, it's really delicious. I had to get past my head. When I was there, I got past my head and everything, and I said, I'm going to give it a try. So I did. Now, one of the things that might be feel for you when you're traveling is what happens when I go from country to country and the monies change. Well, this happened for me in Bali. Going into Bali, it was important. I was leaving Singapore, and it was $25 US, $35 Singaporean to get into the country. And I had 50 Singapore dollars. So the customs agent was so great, he says, oh, you can come in, miss, you can come in. Just give it to me. So now, gave it to him, and I get to my hotel, and I'd already checked. Whenever you're traveling, be sure to check on the internet, transportation to and from the airport, the cost of it, and what might happen that you wanted to pay attention to. So it's going to be 100,000, whatever their currency is. Now, I got back 15,000, which in my head I thought I had 150,000. So I get the taxi, get to the hotel, I give him all my money because I wanted to give him a tip. He said, no, miss, this is not enough. I said, but it's 150,000. He says, no, it's only 15. The owner heard me talking to the taxi driver, and I said, give me all your information, I'll come back tomorrow and pay you. The owner of this hotel comes out and he says, I will give you 100,000 so you can pay. He gave me 100,000, I gave it to the taxi driver, and now I haven't given them any money, don't have any now to give them. Well, he says, take Miss Bracy to her room, we will deal with this later. It was amazing. My whole trip unfolded in such a way. It was awesome. The second key is to be quiet. Now, why am I telling you to be still and to be quiet? I'm telling you both of those work together. In the quietness, even though you hear all these birds or whatever coming, you're going to have all these thoughts coming, because you get more than 60,000 thoughts a day. So as they're coming, you're quiet. And then you get to listen. You get to hear that small voice, that intuition that tells you your next step. What is your next step? What are you going to do? And sometimes it's going to be risky sounding. Somebody was talking the other day about leaps of faith and how the first leap, the next leap, and as you begin to take these leaps of faith, you will be taking risk. Let me tell you, every day you get up, you take a risk. But we don't think about it as a risk because it's normal and ordinary. What if we begin taking leaps of faith so frequently that it becomes common and ordinary. Imagine the joy and the bliss you will create in your life because you're no longer stuck in wondering what is the next step. Kuala Lumpur. This is Batu Caves. One of my dreams while I was traveling was to visit all of the wonders of the world. I didn't realize that now they change the wonders almost yearly. Because growing up, they were the same wonders forever. So this is the wonder of the world. Now, if you look behind me, you will see 276 steps. One of the things that I just got so excited about, I am healthy enough to walk these 276 steps in under 10 minutes. Yes, it was awesome. So I got to the top and I did my little dance, and then I looked around and I saw all these monkeys going around and everything. I said, oh my goodness, what should I do now? So they had another 40 steps deeper into the cave, up another hill, so I took those too. Now your girl is so proud of herself, she is just bouncing. On the way down, if you notice there's a monkey eating a banana, they snatch your bags. And I always carry water with me. So I'm walking down with my bag, tried to snatch my bag. No, can't have my bag, because I like to drink my own water. So he went and got the banana from somebody else. It was interesting to see the dynamics of the human relationships along with what's going on up here with the monkeys and everything. Amazing. Key 3. If you are going to do anything in your life, travel, shop, dine, especially if you're solo, or if you have a partner who doesn't want to do what you want to do, either way, you get to make a decision. Decisions are not always the easiest things to make because as you're making your decision, you're going to consider all the filters, and I think Tanya talked about filters the other day, that come in. The what ifs come in. Most of the time when a what if comes in, it's a negative what if. So I want you to practice with me now and think of something positive. What if I go and have a good experience? How does that feel? Wonderful. What if I decide that I enjoy traveling? What if I get excited every time I go through customs? Because you never know what's going to happen. All you need is your passport. You want to make sure it's up to date too, okay? So I want you to get out of the echo chamber. That's fine. The echo chamber is that voice and those voices that keep telling you, why would you want to do that? We have everything right here. Yes, we do, but I can tell you, traveling opens your mind, opens your energy, opens your space, and seeing things differently. We have every single thing that we want and desire. But what if we go someplace and we get to experience life in a different way, where we're not running out of the house from the air conditioning into the air-conditioned car, even though it's 90 degrees outside? What if you're in a home where you have the windows and doors open, getting the breeze to keep you cool? And I can tell you this, that for me was eye-opening and fulfilling. Because when I'm in Fiji, for instance, I have all the doors and windows open in the house. And the breeze keeps me cool. Of course, I have some fans going on too. But it keeps me cool. When I get back here and walk in the house and the air is not on, oh my goodness. But the windows are closed, the doors are closed. So I'm out of the house, into the garage, into the car, air conditioning. They don't use it that much over there because the cost of electricity is prohibitive, so they just use what's necessary. Angkor Wat, this was another wonder of the world. So, of course, yours truly had to go visit it. And it was amazing because I get there and I see the architecture. I see the statues. I want you to take a good look at these statues. I want you to notice the Africanoid features of these statues in Cambodia. So what does that tell us? Probably so. Probably so. And that for me was also eye-opening because I never thought about Africans being in Vietnam, in Cambodia, or any of those places. So that was very eye-opening. Angkor Wat in Cambodia has a moat around it. And a huge deep moat. And the only way you could get to it is they now have built a way to get, across it. But before it was commercialized, you had to have a boat in order to go there. Next. So, we've talked a lot about traveling and getting out of your fear and all of that. So we have the word fear at the top because most people look at fear as something where get this nervousness in your stomach, you get afraid. Now there is some fear that you really need. If you're going to do something and you're walking down the street and you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, turn around, pay attention. But I want to give you a new acronym for fear, and that is, F is for fabulous, Tanya. E is for experiences. A is await, and R is rejoice. Now, I put this together because I can guarantee you, when you start owning who you are, what you're doing, when you get the confidence to live your life your way, don't worry about what other people are saying, because it really doesn't matter. It's not your business really what they're saying, because if you are important enough for them to talk about you, you have great importance to them. Doesn't matter what they're saying, it's still great importance. So as you step into your fabulous experiences that are awaiting you, you get so blissful, you just rejoice. It is such an amazing space to live. And you get to generate this every single day. Whether you're traveling, whether you're staying at home, whatever it is. If you have a family, teach them about this. Teach them about being fabulous. Let them know that they are fabulous. Sometimes I hear adults speaking to children and I cringe because of the words that they're using. Me, I know you know about this. And I cringe because little minds can only grasp at their level. So as they grow up with all that stuff, and we wonder why they are not doing as successful as we'd like them to be, simply because of what they heard here. And not always are they adults talking to the children, but adult conversations can sometimes get kind of raunchy. And when that happens and the child is listening, they're like, well, does that apply to me? Well, how did that? They're still processing. Even though you tell them to go out of the room, they're standing by the door because they want to hear what you're saying. Experiences can be whatever you desire them to be. You get to choose. You get to choose the experiences in your life that's going to bring you the most bliss. Now, I don't talk about happiness, if you notice, because as Doug says, happiness happens. You get something, you're excited about it. You have a baby, you get married. All of these are event, situations, or opportunities. Bliss, though, is generated from within. And you get that opportunity every single day that you open your eyes. Before you get out of bed, you can decide, this day will be blissful for me. Await and rejoice. As you are experiencing your fabulousness, doing all the things that you desire, rejoice in it. Thank you. Oh, did my stuff get out? I have a contest for you, and we can.
Vicky's passing it out for you.
Okay, thank you. I have a contest, and if you can just fill those out on both sides so you'll have part of it and give me part of it, that would be wonderful. And in this contest is about traveling with confidence, how to travel with confidence, how to pack when you're traveling. Everybody was disappointed because by the time I left Cambodia, I had divested myself of my suitcase, my laptop bag, and I had gotten a backpack this big. And all the other countries, I went with my backpack. It was more than enough. But I had to learn to let it be more than enough. Yeah, thank you.